Forgiveness is a whole other topic, which uh, is also very complex because we tend to use the word in so many different ways. One of my friends, one of our friends, Sylvia Borstein, um, used to say, forgiveness is not amnesia. It doesn't mean, you're wiping the slate clean and that what happened didn't matter. It doesn't matter. Maybe it matters quite a lot. But again, it's a sense of being consumed, overcome, defined by, say, either our own actions in the past, if we feel we can't forgive ourselves, or someone else's actions, which we actually cannot change. As one of my friends who describes himself, I never say anything about my friends that they don't say themselves, by the way, and publicly. So, because I use that term a lot. One of my friends who describes himself as a kind of obsessive type who just like gets consumed by things, especially maybe the wrong actions of others and a sense of grievance and so on. He said once, I think this is actually an AA slogan. He said, I let him live rent free in my brain for too long. So here again, it's a sense of compassion for ourselves and give yourself a break, and just kind of change channels a little bit. But that doesn't mean neglect what happened. And there's a very interesting conversation I have in the book where I do interview a lot of people. This is a conversation with Tim DeChristopher, who's an environmental activist, who I was following online long ago. He did an act of civil disobedience that was quite nonviolent and ended up in prison for 2 years for it. And everyone was startled that that was the sentence. And when he got out of prison, he went to Harvard Divinity School. So I was very interested in him. And he was on my podcast one day. That's where we did the interview. And he was saying, if you've been really hurt by someone, like directly, and it's really impacted you, your job is not necessarily right then to forgive them. Your job is to survive. Or maybe your job is to grieve. And he proposed a compassion core, that it might be someone else's job to be generating compassion for this person, not to make believe it doesn't matter whatever it was they did, but because that is actually considered, in some ways, that's the kind of energy that can actually go toward restoration of harmony, that can actually help somebody move out of their own contracted state of causing suffering and into a better place. And so I thought that was a really novel idea, kind of like the Peace Corps. We could have a compassion corps.